In the first two lessons of this series of video, you have learned how to use Bigfoot Lady or our Tuakaso to find the length as well as the angle in a right angle triangle. Today you are going to learn something special, and that is called Sine Rule. It actually helps you to find the angle as well as length of triangle. Then you might ask, isn't it the repeat of what I have learned in the first two videos? Yes, but what's impressive about Sine Rule is you can find the angle as well as the length of any triangle. For Tuakaso, you can only use Tuakaso to find the angle as well as length of a right angle triangle. Then you might ask, doesn't make the Tuakaso a bit useless? Kind of, but it's like your quadratic formula, the b squared minus 4ac thing. It is most useful when it comes to quadratic equation, but it might not be the simplest. But to be honest, some of my students actually find this to be easier, and they insist on using Sine Rule. So let's check out what is Sine Rule all about. So take out your notebook and copy down today's objective. In this lesson, you learn how to find the length as well as an angle of any triangle using sine, which is why this is called Sine Rule. And the key to doing this type of question is to make two fractions. What do I mean? So basically, you need to have two fractions. So one fraction over here and one fraction over to the right side. So as long as you know how to do this thing, this chapter will be very easy. Which is why I said the key is to make two fractions like this. The left fraction is equals to the fraction on the right. And how we make this fraction is to pair the angle and its opposite side. So copy this down first. You might not understand what I'm talking about right now, but at the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand what I mean by making two fractions as well as pairing the angle and its opposite side. So what is the rule all about? Over here I have a triangle that is of course made up of three sides, A, B and C, as well as three angles, capital A, B and C. So what Sine Rule state is this? Let me just change my color. What Sine Rule says is the ratio of the side or the opposite side is to the opposite angle of this pair is equals to the ratio of this pair, which is also equals to the ratio of this pair. Why I'm saying ratio is because we all know that fraction can be expressed as ratio. So Sine Rule states that the ratio of the opposite side over the sine of the opposite angle, this pair, the ratio, is equals to the ratio of another opposite side is to sine of the opposite angle of the other two sides. So all these three pairs, they are equal. And another way that I can write Sine Rule is this. I can write Sine Rule like this as well. I can also write sine A over A is equals to sine B over B is equals to sine C over C. How come I can take the upside down of this fraction, or what we call reciprocal of this fraction, is because let's say 10 over 2 is equals to 20 over 4. Do you agree? And likewise, 2 over 10 can be written as 4 over 20. So since I can write this as this, I can also write this whole thing as this. So let me repeat again. What sine rule is all about is saying that the ratio of sine of the angle is to the opposite side of each of the three sides of the triangle. They are the same. So copy this down, and one important thing to take note is, like I said earlier on, the key is to make two fractions. What you would want to do is this. So while we are making this fraction pair, right, the numerator of the answer that you want to find, you place it here. So what you want to find. Okay, you place it down here. Now, if you think that I'm talking rubbish, it's okay, because the main point is you know how to apply and do. So you just take note of this. And like I said, I didn't even mention all of this in front. The key is just to make two fractions, then pair up the angle to its opposite side. That's all. But you just need to know the rule, and you should also take note that this rule can be found inside the paper. If you are confused at the moment, never mind. We will look at some question, then you will see that, oh, it's actually super easy. Just take note of the key. So let us check out this question. This question requires us to find the length of B as well as C, and we are given the length of one side, which is 10, and two angles. In a question, if they give you the angles of a triangle, it is macam like they give you the value of the third side. Because you can easily find what's the angle of the third side by taking 180 degree minus 85 degree minus 38 degree. And we will get 180 minus 85 minus 38. We get 57 degree. Alright, so we have 57 degree down here. Okay, it is very important that we find this 57 degree because the length of the opposite side is the only length that we are given. So like I said, you want to pair 57 and 10 up. Now, let's try to find the length of B first. So to find the length of B, okay, like what I said, the key, right? Let me just repeat again. The key is to make two fractions that are equal. Alright? So since we want to find B, like I mentioned, what we want to find, we write down here. So B over, remember sine rule. So sine rule is sine the angle. So what's this angle? Sine 38 degree. Alright? Is equal to so since on top we wrote the length, over here the numerator, we must also write the length. Because B is a length, on the numerator side of the right hand side, we must also write the length. Sine Opposite of 10 is 57 degrees. And we are just one step away from solving this equation. What we have to do is actually quite simple. So over here is b divided by sine 38. So when divide, right, you move over the equal sign, it will become stubs. So I will just get b is equals to, let me change the color, 10 over sine 57 times sine 38. And you will get the answer. B is equals to 10 over 10 divided by sine 57 times sine 38. And you will get 7.34 cm. And that will be your answer. It's actually very simple. And of course, this one is 23 SF. Next, we want to find C. So C, we can do the same thing. For C, right, since we want to find C, C we put as the numerator on the left-hand side over sine the angle, which is 85, because 85 is the opposite angle of C, is equals to, let's just continue using 10. And the opposite side, which is sine 57. And we do the same thing. Sine 85 we want to move over, and it will become times 85. So I have 10 divided by sine 57. Then this one we see times sine 85. Times sine 85 degree. And using my calculator, I can find that 10 divided by sine 57 times sine 85 will give me 11.9 cm, and that is also 23 SF. Alright, simple. So please copy this down into your notebook. Please pause the video and try them out. And I hope that you have finished the question if you have unpaused the video. And you can check the answer down here to see whether you are correct or not. It should be very straightforward. So now that we have found how to find the length, let us go to how to find the angle. Over here, I have this question, find the value of angle A and the length of B. Again, we apply the same thing. So let me change to my blue color ink. So since I have angle A down here, we will have to put sine A over the opposite side, which is 12, is equals to, okay, what is the pair which we have the angle as well as the opposite side? It is the one in black color ink. So let me change to black color ink. Is equals to sine 110 over 18. And like I said, because we place the thing that we want to find over here, it is actually quite simple. So since sine A divided by 12, I can easily move the divide by 12 over, and I will get sine 110 over 18 okay, sine A is down here because I have moved the 12 over. Divide by 12 I move over, it becomes times 12. Okay? So I will just leave this as it is, because we are not interested in finding what is sine A. We are interested in finding what is A. So to find A, right, we move the sine over, and remember the first lesson, when we move sine over, it becomes sine inverse. Sine inverse the whole thing. And because it's times, I can easily put 12 over here, sine 110 over 18. Because this one is multiplied to the denominator. Just take note, I put the 12 in front of the sine. So all I have to do is to calculate what is this. You can just take out your calculator and key them in. So over here, this thing I should get 0.626. And if I inverse sine it, I will get A is equals to 38.8 degree. This one is to 1 dp. Alright? Okay, the thing to take note is when doing this kind of Trigo question, it's not necessary that you calculate this out. This one is not needed for you to calculate out. You can just key in this value into your calculator, and the benefit is you will not make mistake in significant figure when you just do the calculation in the last step. Next, we want to find the length of B. To find the length of B, we actually need this, okay, angle. And since A, right, we found that is 38.8, so now that we find that it's 38.8, we can simply take 180 minus 110 minus 38.8, which will give me 31.2 degree. So this angle is 31.2 degree. And all we have to do is, since we want to find B, B we put as the numerator over sine 31.2 degree. Now, take note. So even though I'm writing 31.2 degree down here, you should use the value in your calculator to do the calculation, so that you will not run into any significant figure error. So this fraction is equals to, let me continue using 18 as well as 110. But since B is a length, the numerator on this side must also be a length. So I write 18 over sine 110, and your B will just be equals to 18 over sine 110 times sine 31.2. So B will be equals to sine 110. So B will be 9.93 cm. And this one is also to 3SF. And this will be your answer. Okay, next, let's look at a question that have an obtuse angle. So angle A, as we can see in this figure, is obtuse. O-B-T-U-S-E, obtuse. And in the previous video, we learned sine of an angle actually have two values. One is the acute value, then the other one is the obtuse value. So let's look at this question and how we can apply the knowledge from the previous video down here. Since we want to find angle A, we put sine A down here. So please remember, when you are finding an angle, you need to put sine. Okay, whenever you find an angle, you need to put sine. Please do not put sine at the length. Alright, or else you will make some calculation error. Okay, sine A, the length is 12, is equal to, okay, so obvious I need to use the 9 as well as 42. So what do I write on top? Over here is the angle, so I need to write 42 on top. So I write sine 42 divided by the length, because length is in the denominator. So again, very simple, we move the 12 over. It will be sine A is equals to 12 times sine 42 over 9. And like I said, you do not have to calculate this out. You can just leave it. Or actually, I would prefer if you leave it like this. And to be honest, you don't need to write the times. You can just write like this. Okay? This means 12 times sine 42. So next, we bring the sine over. We will get A is equals to sine inverse, bracket the whole thing, 12 sine 42 over 9. So key in this value into your calculator. 12 times sine 42 divided by 9. And the whole thing will inverse. You will get 63.1 degree. But this is not your final answer, because you can see that this is an obtuse angle and 63.1 is not an obtuse angle. But in the previous lesson, we learned that sine x is equals to sine 180 minus x. So in this case, to find the obtuse angle A, what we need to do is this. We just take 180 degree minus 63.1 degree. And we will get 180 minus 63.1. And we will get our answer 116.9 degree, which will be 1 dp. And this will be our answer. So just remember, if you look at a triangle and the angle is obtuse, the angle they want to find is obtuse, then you need to do the 180 minus 63.1. So just use your visual perception. Is this more than 90? If it is more than 90 and you get a number that's smaller than 90, just take 180 minus away the answer. And you should be good. Lastly, please try out these 3 questions. The first is very straightforward. The second and the third, please be reminded that this is an obtuse angle. And this one is also an obtuse angle. So find the value of the theta in first, second, and third triangle. The second and the third, you need to take 180 minus away your answer that you get because they are obtuse angle. And if you need to check your answer, they are down here. And let me repeat, for the second and the third, you need to take 180 minus away the answer that you obtain because they are obtuse angle. And that's all for sine rule. It should be pretty straightforward. The key, let me repeat, is to make two fractions. Pair up the angle and its opposite side and whatever you want to find. You put it down here. Then the rest is just bring the denominator over and it becomes times and inverse sine if it's an angle. That's all. Very simple.